لو تخينا مزيس كنو فلنا نفريه بنا كنتبع لنا سبسي أي تفرحي نحق فرح نزقيها فرحي
Hi, welcome to teddympress show. In today's episode, we have an important interview with immigration attorney Ina Simakovsky. She lives in Columbus, Ohio, and she will share with us the services her immigration law firm provides to refugee and immigrant communities here in the United States. And she will also share with us the experience she has, the recent visit that she had in Ethiopia. Ina, welcome to teddympress show.
Thank you so much, Teddy, for your kind invitation and your kind introduction.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I haven't introduced you much because I would like to let you know to do by yourself. Please tell us about yourself and the law firm that you are working for.
Wonderful. Thank you. So welcome to your audience. My name is Ina Simakovsky, and I am an immigration attorney that is based in Columbus, Ohio. Our firm is called Simakovsky Law, and we have 4 attorneys, and we have 15 support staff that are here to meet all of our client needs. Even though we are located in Columbus, Ohio, we serve the population all over the United States. So in terms of Ethiopian and Eritrean clients, we see clients from DC, Maryland, Virginia, California, Texas. So we are physically in Columbus, but our work is across the US.
Yeah, could you please tell us about your background also? I know that you came as a refugee child. Tell us about it.
Yes, that's correct. So I was born in the former Soviet Union, and we were religious refugees. So in the Soviet Union, one could not practice religion during communism. So we went from Soviet Union to Italy, and Italy to Louisville, Kentucky. So we were granted refugee status when we were in Italy, and we came as religious refugees. I was a child. This was 1976, under Brezhnev and Carter. So I was very fortunate to leave the Soviet Union and then to be able to resettle in a community in Louisville and then move to Columbus, Ohio. Having that refugee background and understanding what refugees go through and understanding the refugee struggle from language to benefits, to housing, to food insecurity, to advocacy in medicine, in law, that is something that I grew up with. So I feel that I am very equipped to deal with the issues that immigrants, asylum seekers, refugees come to us with, and we try to handle cases with passion and with compassion. And I feel that that tone has been set by the fact that this is something that I grew up with, and this is something that I experienced. So I can really feel what our clients are feeling because I went through it myself.
Great, thank you so much. But you also, you're telling us that you came from Russia, but originally you're also from Israel, are you?
I am Jewish.
Jewish,
So
okay.
Judaism and being Jewish, some people consider it a religion. So for me, it is a religion, it is a culture. But in Russia, it's considered a people. So in our passport, it was stamped that we were Jewish, and therefore we were persecuted because of that designation. So it is a people that live all over the world. I have visited Israel, but I consider myself a Russian Jewish refugee from the former Soviet Union, as well as a woman, a mother, a sister, a wife, many roles, many hats we wear in this day and age.
Yeah, so you're saying that you feel in a Russian Jewish?
Correct. So I was born in Russia, and we were allowed to enter the United States because of the persecution that we experienced as Russian Jews.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So we will return back to the refugee and immigrant issues. I saw on your Facebook also that you had recently traveled to Ethiopia. So why did you travel to Ethiopia to begin with?
So I would like to thank my friend Mimi Teddysy. She is a dear friend, and she runs a nonprofit here in Columbus, Ohio called CGWE. The nonprofit raises funds to buy cows for women in Ethiopia in the Oromo region. And Mimi, I've known Mimi for a very long time. Mimi herself came from Ethiopia, and she really believes in giving back to her community in the way that I feel is essential. So a lot of times we do, we give, what is the phrase? Don't give someone a fish, teach them how to fish. So I feel that as opposed to giving someone milk or opposed to giving someone meat, she really emphasizes the fact that cows provide women with a way to support themselves, support their children, support their family. And that comes from, the cow dung is fertilizer. When the cow has a calf, that is milk, that is cheese, that is butter. And what I noticed most about the women that are receiving these cows is that, first of all, they are the poorest of the poor. So Mimi's organization works with an organization called Hundi, and they truly pick the women that are the poorest of the poor. And when we were there, we went to the cow market, and these women, picked out the cow that they wanted. And many of the women that we met with, one of the things that they stated over and over again was this cow was the beginning of their new life. So the cow gave them hope. It gave them a feeling of accomplishment. And the most amazing thing was something called dabari, which was when your cow has a baby, that you as the woman are able to give your cow to another woman. And that is inspirational because you are now giving versus receiving. So I just want to thank Mimi for giving me the opportunity to go and to really showing us Ethiopia, introducing us to the people, introducing us to the communities that we serve here in the US. I think that Ethiopia, I've always been obsessed with Ethiopia. I always say that I was an Ethiopian princess in my past life. And Ethiopia just was a phenomenal experience because we weren't just tourists there. We actually were doing something. We were doing something very important and that truly, truly changes lives.
So what was your impression when you, what places, by the way, you traveled from Ethiopia? What parts did you
So we arrived in Addis, and then we took, I think it was about an 8 or 9 hour drive to Nekemti. And we spent a majority of our time in Nekemti, and then we returned to Addis. So we We did see a lot of the countryside. And then when we were in Nekemti, we also went into the countryside to meet the women and to meet their cows. So I feel like we didn't go everywhere, obviously, but I feel that we covered some solid ground. And again, we were tourists, obviously, but it felt like we were doing work. It felt like we were doing something very important.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So what was your impression when you
I think initially we were very overwhelmed. It is a very different culture, so many different languages, so many different religions, so many different kind of places where different people live, right? I mean, there's just, especially in the capital, the people are incredibly, genuinely like love. The people are so welcoming, and they want to show you, and they want to make you part of what they're doing. We attended multiple church services. We went to people's houses for dinner. We toured. The impression is Ethiopia has so much potential from an economic perspective. But sometimes, politics gets in the way. But I feel like as a tourist, we were very well taken care of. We were very protected. I do wish we could have gone into the streets a little bit more, because I am a person that likes to explore by myself and get myself into a little bit of trouble. And it was told to us that was not safe, which I completely understand. And things like we could not eat street food. We were told, please don't do that. You'll get sick. And even though I did not eat street food, I still got sick. But it was a life-changing opportunity. I am very, very passionate about what I do, and to be able to see where my clients come from, just a very unique opportunity, because you can say to people, oh, I was in Nekemti, and they are so like, they changed because they're so proud that you have been to the place that they are from, and that you've seen the things that they see. So it really brings an incredible perspective to myself, but also as a way to connect with the clients that we serve.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I know also that you mentioned about politics. That's one of the problems. But from your observation, what are the main problems that Ethiopia is facing at the moment, do you think?
I am from Russia, and right now Russia is in a war with Ukraine. So I see a great parallel with that, in that the Ethiopian people, the Eritrean people, the Amhara people, the Oromo people, the Somali people, the Ogaden people, all of these people are people.
Yeah.
We are all people.
Yeah.
We all get up in the morning, and we all eat breakfast, and we all want our kids to go to school, and we all want to work to have a better economic opportunity. So we are all people. And my impression of Ethiopia is that it's very, the government has sown a lot of groups against one another. I think that the government of Ethiopia, again, I'm not an Ethiopian expert, but it feels like the government, the more someone can blame a different group, the more the government wins, and the more the government has control of the dialogue. So if, like we have in the United States right now, if there is always someone to hate, and with that hate comes the ability to control. And I think in Ethiopia and Eritrea, that is a very strong dialogue. We are going to put people into groups, and we are going to treat those groups in a certain way that does not foster love and caring. It actually fosters the opposite. And it's very sad to see, because if we can put money into helping poor people and helping education and providing food, if we can take a fourth of the money we use on war and provide human services, I think we may not have war, because people people will have the things that they need. They no longer need to fight for it. But that takes a very smart government and a very strategic government to say, peace brings our people more than war does.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. So coming back to the immigration issues, you mentioned also before that you have a passion and compassion about helping others, refugees and immigrants. If you could add a little bit more about it, why are you, involved in helping refugees and immigrants?
Well, I think that one of the most important thing in humanity, right, is to have the ability to be comfortable where you are. And people that are coming to the US, whether they're coming as refugees or whether they're coming through the Mexican border right now, or whether they're coming as students, their immigration status is sort of the base. If your immigration status isn't set correctly, then everything else will fall apart. And so our law office meets with clients and helps them navigate a very complicated system. I think within the Ethiopian and Eritrean population, what I've really, I work with clients from all over the world. And if I compare the Somali people to the Ethiopian Eritrean people, what I see very clearly is Somalis share information. They share everything. Wow. Whatever they think, that's what comes out of their mouth. That's what they share. They share good information, bad information, correct information, incorrect information.
Okay.
The Ethiopian and Eritrean people are very different. They internalize everything. Everything is a secret. Everything is very inside. They do not share. And I think that that's from years of government intervention and government being scared of the government. So I am seen as authority. And so therefore everything is very internalized. I even, when I first started working with the community, I noticed that they would, once in a while, you'd be just talking and someone would say, and I'd be like, what happened? And I realized that that's just a form of speech, but it really kind of, I think of the Ethiopian and Eritrean clients, that to me is very real, that they, just even that part of the speech. So when we work with these clients, especially now, there's a lot of clients coming through the Mexican border. And there's a lot of clients that seek help from non-attorneys, whether it's because, I don't speak Amharic, I don't speak Tigray, I don't speak Oromo. So they go to people in the community. And I think there's one message that I really want to make clear is people in the community that are not lawyers should not be involved in the legal process. If I want my car fixed and I go to myself as a lawyer, my car will not be fixed correctly. So people should stay in their lane. If you are a notary, notarize documents. If you are, these community members, I think that they have very good intentions, but they are not lawyers. They are not trained in the law. And if something goes wrong, there's no recourse for the client. If I do something wrong, the client can sue me and get their money back and even maybe win their case because of my mistake. But if you are going to a notary, there's no recourse for you. You're just screwed. Your case is messed up. You said on your application that you are Oromo when you're actually Amhara. We have a very infamous notary here in Columbus, Ohio, that writes the same asylum story for every single person. And so when I see those asylum stories, I already know who wrote it because he just changes the name. And when you're applying for something like asylum and you've spent 3 months walking and you've spent $10,000 to get to the US, it's just so important that you be able to tell your story versus a story that is not yours. So I would just warn all your clients, go see a lawyer. And don't sign anything until you've reviewed it, until you know what it says, until you've determined that it is your story and you know your story. Because when you get to the asylum office or you get to court, they will want to make sure that your story is true, is correct, you can corroborate everything that you're saying. So if you don't know your own story because you've never read it, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, okay. Just to continue, you mentioned that you serve people from all over the world. You mentioned also about the Somalis. What kind of people, communities are you serving right now?
So Columbus is really the hub of multiple refugee communities. As you're aware, as a former refugee, if one refugee comes somewhere, 1,500 will follow. So we came to Columbus, Ohio. We were one of the first Russian families here. And when in 1991, 92, when the Soviet Union fell, we brought about 40 family members, and they brought about 40 family members, and they brought about 40, it's chain migration in the best way. So in Columbus, we have the second largest Somali community after Minnesota. We have, I think, the third largest Ethiopian community. We have the second or third largest Bhutanese community. That they are refugees that came. We have a very large, recently arrived Mauritanian community.
I see. Okay.
Cameroon has a war right now. We've been getting lots of Cameroonian clients. Guinea, Senegal.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
There's all of our Hispanic friends. We have a very large Latino population. We have a very large Cuban population. Columbus is a very affordable place. And housing used to be affordable. Columbus also has a lot of businesses that do not require language skills. So you can start working at Limited Brands warehouse or Victoria's Secret warehouse or Amazon warehouse. And then from there, you start moving up. So Columbus, Iraqis, oh my gosh, we have a huge Afghani population right now. So it's amazing. When you kind of go into the Columbus suburbs, you see people from all over the world, and you would think we're in Ohio, we're in like mid-America, but it has become a very attractive place for people to come because housing is affordable and jobs are fairly easy to find.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much. So what are the main services that your company is providing?
So right now we are very busy with the Biden administration has put out an executive order where applications will be accepted on August 19th. So this is our new initiative to really get clients educated and prepared. And what this executive order basically does is it allows people that enter the country without a visa to be able to get their green card in the U.S. So you have to show that you're married to a citizen before June 17th of this year, and you have to show that you've lived in the U.S. for 10 years, and you have to be undocumented. And you have to be a person of good moral character. So the application is called a parole application, which will basically forgive the illegal entry and then let you get a work permit and then let you apply for a green card in the U.S. versus leaving the U.S. for that process. So that will affect millions, I think, of people, mostly Hispanic, but I see it affecting a lot of other people from many countries who have U.S. citizen spouses. We are also very busy with asylum. We do a lot of asylum for.
Yeah, before you go with that, in regards to executive order, is it also including for those people who are in deportation orders?
That's a very good question. We do not know that information yet. So the executive order came out on June 17th. And yesterday they told us that they'll start accepting applications on August 19th. But it has not come out in the Federal Register, which will tell us if you've had multiple entries, can you apply? If you have a deportation, can you apply? So those details have not come out yet. What I think is also very important for your audience to understand is whenever there's an executive order on immigration, there's usually a lawsuit. And that lawsuit is usually filed in Texas, and it's usually filed with a judge that does not believe in immigration reform, and it's usually stopped. So we will be filing all of our applications, or as many as possible, on August 17th. So it arrives on August 19th. So I think that's very important to call your immigration attorney and see if you qualify and start collecting those documents, because 10 years of documents is sometimes hard to track down. But now is the time to prepare and to see someone that you trust and to go forward.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much. You were also mentioning about asylum, and please continue.
Yes.
The other kind of services that you are providing.
So asylum, as we are aware, is persecution based upon race, religion, nationality, social group, or politics. Lots of people from Eritrea come via the Mexican border and apply for asylum because of military service or politics. Same with Ethiopia. Ethiopia has recently and continues to be in a war. So lots of people are fleeing and going to Mexico and coming to the US through Mexico and applying for asylum. We have a lot of clients in the Arlington, Virginia court and Arlington, Virginia immigration service that are applying for asylum. Again, very important to have a very individualized asylum. Right now, it's also possible to apply for something called prosecutorial discretion, which allows you to close your case in court. We do a lot of that. Ethiopia also, for the first time 2 years ago, and it continues, they have temporary protected status. So that is a way for people who are out of status to apply for a work permit and to apply for deportation protections. So there's lots of things to be done. We also do a lot of something called special immigrant juvenile status, which allows children who are under the age of 18 who are here with one parent or no parent to become legalized.
Okay.
It's kind of a form of adoption, but not, but serves the same purpose. We also do something called a U visa, which is a victim of crime visa. So if you are undocumented or your visa overstay and you have a crime committed against you and you cooperate with authorities, you can get your green card through that process. We also work with a lot of Ethiopian and Eritrean women who marry U.S. citizens or green card holders and are in abusive relationships. And we help them get their green card because of that abuse.
Okay.
And then my favorite is we help a lot of clients who cannot speak English and who want to become citizens. We work with doctors all across the U.S. on something called a disability waiver. And that's a waiver that allows you to not have to take the test if a doctor states that you have a physical or mental disability, which a lot of our friends that are coming from war-torn countries and that lived in a refugee camp for many years, they do have trauma and a lot of bad things that they have witnessed that has really affected their mental state and their ability to learn. So that is probably my favorite thing to do is help those people become citizens, because now they're so proud and they can they can travel and they feel like they have a home, whereas before they don't have that stability until they achieve citizenship, especially like the old grandmas. Those are my favorite.
Well, I know. Very interesting. You know, especially from the Eritrean side, I see wherever city you go, you find many elder people because their kids are here.
Yes.
You know, hundreds, thousands are fled from Eritrea recently, especially the last 30 years. And now the parents has to come here because they don't have kids there. They don't have their sons and daughters are not there. So if you go to any Eritrean family, so you will find one parent, either both or one of them sitting just, watching television, and of course taking care of their grandkids as well.
Of course. And the Ethiopian and Eritrean people are very family oriented. And so it's just amazing to be able to bring those families together, especially if they haven't seen, their kids in years or their mom in years. It's amazing to be able to provide that family reunification and help
Very,
them.
very interesting. And then I will also actually highlight it in my Tigrinya program. Is what you are telling me today is very important information that you are providing us. And then what you mentioned also about the women, I mean, especially in the abuse relationship and stuff. But Mimi also brought to my attention recently when we were, when she introduced me about you, about the female genital mutilation. Is that something the Eritreans, Ethiopians, and Somalis and other African women can apply for? Because, especially in those regions, Arabic countries, I know for sure you learn about it. Eritreans, Ethiopians, all women are, out here. They have to. For sure now has improved, but I am very certain. I have done a lot of reports when I was back in Eritrea about it, and it's very horrific. I mean, it's very traumatic experience that they pass through. And I know most of them, committed on that. So, what can you tell us about it?
So, FGM is a practice that obviously affects a lot of women. Many African countries and countries in the Middle East, on the books and in the laws, it is banned.
Yeah.
But in reality, it happens all the time. So we represent a lot of women that have gone through the procedure, and FGM is considered a form of torture. So if you've had FGM done to you, you can apply for asylum, and you have to prove, obviously, that you've had FGM, which I'm actually a little bit surprised that sometimes when I look at cases and a woman has had FGM, there is nothing in the file that she has gone to a doctor to provide that evidence. So that would be the first kind of, if someone says, I've had FGM, I don't want to go back to my country, like I just, it's too much. I say, okay, well, we need to go to a doctor and we need to have an exam, and I need a letter saying you've had the procedure, so that becomes your strongest evidence. But if you're going to someone that isn't a lawyer, they might not even tell you to provide that. And FGM, again, it's practiced in many, many countries. And there's different kinds of FGM depending on
I know.
what parts are removed.
Yeah.
Some women, they flee with their female children because they don't want their female children to experience that. And a lot of times, even though the mother and the father oppose FGM, there's an aunt or a grandmother that will kidnap the child and that will have that done to the child because it's so ingrained in the community, and it's so ingrained in culture. It's so ingrained in, if you don't have this done, then you're considered, a slut or a loose woman. This will control you. So it is definitely a way to get asylum for our clients.
Yeah. Wow, this is very important. I hope our listeners know that there is a possibility. But you mentioned that the lawyers can ask for evidence for that?
Yeah. So the lawyer, I send my client to several health facilities that provide a gynecological exam, and that give a letter stating what kind of FGM has happened. And that is a critical piece of evidence to use in court or to use at the asylum office. Won many asylum cases based on that, but you have to have the proof.
Yeah. If I remember right, it was a kind of four kind of FGM practices that they had back in Eritrea. I also read about Ethiopia, even Somalia also as well. But they also mentioned that some grandmothers that they want their grandkids to be. And I have also heard here, was a kind of a decade ago when I came here. So there was some parents, they take their kids back home and get done it. So it is also an illegal part of it, yeah.
Yeah, also very illegal. And I think that from what my understanding is that there's also practitioners in the communities in the U.S. that also can provide this service. So, it's something that is deeply, deeply ingrained in some of our communities.
Wow, this is yeah. So thank you so much. Coming back to you're serving a lot of different kind of communities. If they would like to reach you, how would they get in touch with you, do you think?
Absolutely. So our phone number is on the screen. It's 614-695-4605. We have 4 people that answer our phone. I would highly encourage people to please leave a message. We receive a lot of phone calls. So please leave a message and we will return your call.
So this is the phone, 614-695-4605, yeah?
That's correct.
Okay.
We do appointments by phone, by Zoom, or in person. I also would offer my services to communities that have clients that I would be very happy to come and do an educational session and do answer people's questions. So today we're actually going to an Ethiopian restaurant in Dayton, Ohio, to provide just a resource. Because again, a lot of times our newly arrived people, there's language limitations, there's access, transportation limitations, and sometimes they want to be served in their community versus going outside of their community. And we really believe that if we can make that happen, we will come to you. We've done these sessions in Kentucky, in Tennessee, in Akron, Ohio, in California, in Washington. So if a community wants to bring me out to help, it's usually like a church or something like that. I would be happy to come out to provide services, to answer questions. And again, my license is federal, so I can practice in any state in the United States. And what I will say is in Ohio, we are able to charge less than places like California or Washington or Virginia or Maryland because our overhead is very low.
Okay.
So we are able to charge Ohio prices and still do the case in Virginia. So I think that that's definitely a benefit for people that are looking for something a little bit more affordable than in the bigger cities.
Very interesting. Okay, I see. Would you like to mention about the prices a little bit, or?
Of course. So we do charge a consultation fee. We charge $150, and the consultation is not time restrictive. We would like to work with someone and answer all of their questions. And a lot of times, people have an hour and a half worth of questions. And then after we do the consultation, we usually do a case plan. And then one of our legal assistants comes in, we sign a contract, and then we start with the case. So for an asylum case, I always ask the person to write their story in their own language. And then we kind of go from there and make the story better and make the story fit into the asylum definition. And we do offer payment plans. We do take credit cards. And again, I've been doing this for 25 years. So I feel like we've served the grandmother, the parents, the children, the grandchildren. I plan on doing this for a very long time. So we are a stable law firm, and we really, really take care of our clients. I take this very seriously as the owner of the firm.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. I see on your website, on the contact list, there people will fill out this form to get in touch with you, to contact you.
Absolutely. We also have Simakovsky laws on Facebook. And again, sometimes it's easier to just call. And that's our building in Columbus. We are outside of downtown Columbus. We have a very large parking lot in the back of our building. We are on a bus line, which is very important to our clients. And we just welcome the Ethiopian and Eritrean community. We are here for you, and we want to serve you. We take this very, very seriously.
Great. Thank you so much. I also see Ali Hore Abruz. Do you know Afar Sina?
Do I know what?
Afars.
Afar people, yes, it's to the right here.
Yeah.
I know exactly where the Afar region is. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. That's one of our viewers mentioned it. Okay, thank you so much. So this is the questions that I had. I'll give you a chance if you'd like to say, if you'd like to add any. So
yes, I just want to say thank you for providing this forum. I think that within the ethnic communities, you are obviously very trusted. And I think it's so important that you provide information to the communities in a way that they are able to access it. I think that having me on will hopefully, someone will say, oh my gosh, I need to become a citizen, or oh my gosh, I heard her say something. So I always feel like you have to touch people in 3 different ways for them to really sometimes wake up and want to do something about their case. And so I really appreciate the ability to make this one touch and hopefully affect someone and hopefully to help someone. We are here to serve the community. We are here to serve people with their immigration needs. And so I thank you, Teddy, for letting us talk about our message.
Thank you so much, Inna. So I hope I will see you some other time. I really appreciate you for the services that you are providing for our communities here in the United States, all over the states. And then thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day and a good weekend.
Same to you. Our viewers, we will see you until next time. Bye-bye.
لو تخينا مسكنو فلنا نفريه بنا كنتبع لنا سبسي أي تفرحي نحق فرح نزقيه فرحي